Okay, so we're recording right now. So to get us started, I'm glad that you guys are on, by the way. Thank you for taking the time. It's been a long time since we've had a team call. So to see your beautiful faces and know that there's people listening in, like I really, really appreciate it. I really want to dive into, I'm working majorly on a plan to keep us doing this at once a month. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Once a month, we are going to do a team call. Even if there's nothing to talk about and it's, hey guys, I want to see your beautiful faces for 30 minutes, whatever. Even if it's just to kind of go over the calendar, I want to make it a point to get back onto the fact that we have a monthly call. Not only is our team growing, your teams are growing. And I think it's really important that the new coaches coming on and you guys, we have these, it kind of opens it up for questions. It kind of just, I think it's important. So I'm glad that you guys are here. I have first off a homework assignment for you guys, for all of you. So first come for, there she is. Hi. I don't know if she could see. So if you guys, one, can make sure that you mute your side. So if you guys can just mute your, there she is. Here. If you just go back down to the bottom of your screen to the left, you'll see that it says mute. Just hit that so there's no background noise. But first homework assignment that you guys have is I want you guys to go on Amazon and I want you to order the book, The 12-Week Year. And it is by Brian Moran. It is like $13 on Amazon. So write that down. It's called The 12-Week Year. And that one is, it's all about goals. It's all about plans. It's all about like taking a 12-month execution plan and kind of putting it into like almost like a 12-week thing. It's just a really good push. Natalie suggested it. I just ordered mine and I really thought it would be cool because I know that a lot of you guys have your own personal development, which is great. You guys have your podcast that you listen to or whatever it is. But I thought it would be really cool to kind of have us all, even if it's just in addition to, all be reading the same thing right now. I just think it would be good because I know there's a lot of coaches that are like, I don't even know where to start. You know, for the new coaches that are on or might be listening in, the first book that you guys probably should be reading is Go for No. Go for No? Yeah, Go for No. That's the first one, but we're going to kind of put that over here for right now. And I want you guys to try to get the 12-Week Year by Brian Moran. And like I said, it's like $13 on Amazon. And I'll post it in the group, you know, for anybody who's not on, doesn't have a chance to listen into the call. But I want to try to kind of get us all and then be like, listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to read this book together. It's going to force us to do personal development every single day. And remember, the personal development is not 30 minutes. It's not 45. It's finding 15 minutes a day. Because I don't know about you guys, but my attention span is like not very long. My comprehension absolutely sucks. So I can only read for 15 minutes and then I get sidetracked. Like I have to reread my chapter. So for me, 15 minutes, I take my book, I grab my cup of coffee and I read. I take what I want out of that 15 minutes and it kind of sets the day. And then if I have time to do more later, I do more. If I want to listen to a podcast, I can. But the initial 15 minutes a day is where your personal development should be. Remember, this business, it's growing from in here. So we cannot be good role models if we can't fix it here. So get that first off. So just kind of mark that down. That was a homework assignment right off the bat. I want to quickly just go as a reminder through our calendar. But before we do, we've had a lot of new coaches in the last couple of weeks. So I want to congratulate Candace Pinto, Denise McMahon, who's on here, Amanda Borger, and now recently Doreen Murray, who's just joined our team. So we have some really cool new coaches that have joined, and I'm so excited about their own story, why they're here, the success they have, and how they already want to pay it forward to everybody else. So I'm excited. Congratulations, guys. But I am going to quickly, let me see if I can share my screen for a second. Okay, I can. All right, I am going to go real quickly into our Team Inspire page, and I want to bring up our calendar. See how slow my system is? I don't know why. Hello? Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. Maybe if I just go into photos. Where's my photos? While this is loading, I just reminder that we are starting our new coach training tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, I will be inviting you guys to a page, to the new coaches who said they wanted to be on. And remember, it's not just for the new coaches, it's also to any existing coaches that feel that they need to get back on board with things. So if you feel that you need to get back on board, then I really suggest that you jump into this coach training. And like I said, I will start it tomorrow and I will add you guys in. So here is the new coach training right here. The page is being set up. This computer is killing me right now. All right, it's really slow. Come on, computer, work with me. All right, so there it is. It's just kind of the basics of everything. That starts tomorrow. I will let you guys know. You will be added into the group. You do not have to be on at a certain time. So I think sometimes people think with the new coach training, like, is it a meeting? Do I have to be on? You don't. The new coach training is going to be a private group, kind of run like our Team Inspire group, like our challenge groups. It's a group, and I am going to be posting 1 to 2 times a day. Most likely 2 times a day is what I'm going to be posting. I'm not going to guarantee that every day because life just gets busy, crazy. But I'd like to post 2 times a day, and it's going to be in the morning. Tomorrow is going to be more kind of an introduction. Who's in here? Why are you in here? That kind of a thing. And then we're going to go into the basics, the terminology, what the team stands for, and what you need to know in regards to Beachbody, what you should be doing as a new coach to grow your business. So we'll go through that. Please go into our page and take a look at this. This is really what your daily to-do should be. Again, for new coaches, I'll go over this, but for our existing coaches, take a look at this. This really should be kind of printed out and put up on a board for what you should be doing every day. And then, guys, just to kind of go over, especially for anybody new, I have at the top of our calendar, if you look, it says Monday Motivation, Transformation Tuesday, Shakeology Recipe, No Excuses, Flex Friday, Weekend Tips Film, Prep Sunday. The reason I put that all at the top is because it's just kind of a way to give you ideas on what to post. So if you are hitting a brick wall and you don't know what to post on Facebook, it gives you an idea, in addition to what you normally do, what you should be posting. You guys, our next challenge group starts on the 25th of October. That's going to be our next fitness challenge. And remember, I want you guys to start growing your own challenge groups. But if you still only have 1 or 2 people, the one I run on the 25th is still going to be open to our team. So feel free to add or start your own challenge groups. But on the 25th is going to be our new group, and it's going to be pretty much along the lines of what we just had, the transformation one, which was amazing. I mean, amazing. Like, is it Deneen? How am I saying this? Am I screwing up your name? You can unmute it if you want. I just want to make sure I'm saying it right.
No, you're right. It's Deneen.
Okay. All right. I want to make sure. I'm like, it's Deneen, right? Okay. Well,
no, you're good.
Okay. If you guys noticed, Deneen was in that group, and she joined our challenge group and did Insanity Max 30, and her results are freaking amazing. And it's because of what she did, and she followed everything day by day in the Shakeology and what she was eating, and there was no excuses. So that is part of that transformation story. So I kind of want to do like a part 2 of that and just keep adding to that and keep doing whatever we can to change lives. So remember, if you have people that you want to get in, if you want to advertise, then make sure you cannot post about it once. You have to post about it a couple times. And Deneen, again, a lot of this might be like, whoa, I don't know what you're talking about. We will go through all of this on the coach training, so don't get overwhelmed by the calendar. You will eventually get to this point, but what we're kind of explaining is just kind of how you start inviting people to your groups. You usually do it weeks or 2 beforehand. So this is just showing everybody what they need to do. The week of the 18th is the last call. Guys, Tuesday night, I'm going to do a new coach Zoom call. I might have to push that time. Yeah, I might have to reschedule that one. All right, that might be an iffy. I may have to move that one to Thursday night. So just this week, we will do a new coach Zoom call. I will let you guys know. And it's for all the new coaches. I'm just going to kind of do it. And I'll post, actually, probably what I'll do is I'll post it within our team training so you guys know when our call is going to be. On the 16th, that's the Success Club, guys. We want to push for it. That's just kind of a reminder, but we want to kind of try to hit for that. And then the week of the 24th is where we should start asking people if they want to join our next 5-day lean out. I think it would be good to do our next lean out after Halloween, just because everybody is bad with food. We all cheat and eat the candy corn and the Tootsie Rolls and everything else. So I thought it would be really cool if we start advertising the end of the month and then do the 5-day lean out on the 7th, and we'll just run it together as a group. So just make sure you guys take a good look at the calendar, everything that's in our Team Inspire page. Hi, Doreen. just make sure you go in and really look at all of the posts and just kind of get yourself familiar. A lot of the new coaches go in and just play around with our page. Look at the comments, look in the photos, see what's going on. But for you guys, the biggest thing I want you guys to do is get ready for your new coach training tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, look for the invite and I'll add you in and everything will just be explained, what you're a part of. Again, you guys make the decision at that point whether you really want to be a coach just because you absolutely fell in love with the program. You fell in love with what Shakeology is. You fell in love with it. So you just want to do it for discount purposes only. You want the newest, version of the next workout coming in. So if you want to do just discount only, that's totally fine. But if you want to take it into more of a hobby, you want to start earning some income, you want to turn it into like your own CEO business, that's where this training is really going to take place, because it kind of shows you what we do as coaches, how we earn an income, and how we continuously pay it forward and change lives. Like, our goal is to change as many lives as we can a month. So it's just the coolest thing. If you guys haven't noticed, Team Inspire is our team. So you'll see who's on the call now. But our team is huge, and we have coaches that are discount only coaches. We have coaches that are hobby coaches, just doing it on the side for fun, in addition to keeping themselves accountable. And then we have coaches that are turning this into a full business. But we came up with Team Inspire, and I named it that because I just put the word inspire broken down into I am now the story, the proof, and the improved real example, which is basically everybody who's in this group is what we are. We took ourselves, we transformed ourselves, and we're in a better place because of it. So you are part of that team. So that's really it. That's all I kind of wanted to go over. I wanted to be quick about that kind of thing just because I feel those are the most important things. The calendar, get the 12-week yearbook, and get ready for our new coach training. And I will post about our Zoom call this week to get us ready. I wanted Christine to talk tonight about if you guys are not familiar with it, the Melissa McAllister. She is one of the top coaches in the Beachbody business. She is part of our downline. So we have a huge downline of platinum presenters, which is run by Christine Dwyer. Christine Dwyer has built the business like us into over 200,000 coaches or 2,000 coaches or something like that. And every one of those coaches have then created their own teams. So we are a part of Platinum Presenters. We are a part of Natalie Tuman's team, which is the Iron Legacy. And we are a part of our team, Team Inspire. But Melissa McAllister is within that entire team and has grown her business huge. She has been in PIO videos. She has been in quite a few other ones, Turbo Fire, very close with Shalene Johnson, very close with Michelle Parks, huge in this business. She has come up with what's called the Melissa McAllister MADE diet. It's very familiar, very similar to the keto. Well, actually, I think it is the keto diet, but it's run in a way where you're still drinking the Shakeology and still being proof of the product within the Beachbody business. It's not geared towards everyone. Not everybody can do it. However, us coaches, we do our 5-day lean outs. We were taught in the Beachbody world that you're supposed to eat every 2 hours. That's what we're taught. For me, that works for me, but I have changed a few things around since talking to Christine. Sometimes you hit that plateau, and I can't go into it the way Christine does, but I've learned to take the stuff that she's taught me and kind of incorporate it, and I've seen a big difference with just changing a few things around. So I wanted her to talk to us tonight and explain what this diet is, because I want us to know our target audience. Who do we reach out to? How do we explain it? And how do we incorporate that into the Beachbody business? So Christine, if you could give us if you don't mind, if you could start off with how you got introduced to this, why you got introduced to it, and what has done for you.
Hi, everybody. Just like Jen said, everybody kind of has to find what's going to work for them in regards to their exercise. Everybody's exercise is different. I know like Jen and Heather are more like the insanity type people. I mean, I love my boot camp, but I'm a PIO girl by heart. I work out all the time, and this I don't call this a diet, as I call it a way of eating. And I was doing really good, always using my Shakeology, and I work out almost every day, basically every day, but I still was finding that the way of eating wasn't working for me before. And my husband actually he has some cardiac issues, and his lab work was kind of up and down. in regards to like his liver enzymes. And I'm a nurse as well. So I realized that we needed to look for a different way of eating that would work for us and kind of help him and then also help me. So I started doing some research, and I remember learning about the ketogenic diet, which was a diet at Johns Hopkins that they put kids on that had seizures. And it did something by reducing the amount of sugar in their body to help eliminate seizures. They also recommend it for cancer patients. There's a lot of documentation. So I didn't go into this just off the cuff saying, we're going to eliminate all our sugar. We'll see what we do. And I got a book that was Lose Weight, Eat More Fat. I actually gave it to Michelle. So I forget what the name of it was, but I read it on a vacation, believe it or not. And we actually started doing this way of eating on vacation, like a little bit. And then when we came back, we really went full force into it. So basically, and there's one app, and if you guys don't have it, definitely get MyFitnessPal. It's a fabulous app. It helped me tremendously in the beginning. I still use it from time to time because you can just plug in your food that you want to eat, or say like, I really like this one. I wonder how many carbs are in there. And it'll tell you immediately, because with this diet, which I go off of now, the MAID diet, which is from Melissa McAllister, and her team is Team MAID. So it's kind of interesting how she kind of links it all together. But it's moderate amounts of protein. I have little notes over here, so I'm going to look. Adequate amount of fats. So you're going to have a moderate amount of proteins, more fat, believe it or not, and a decreased amount of carbs, and you eat in an 8-hour window. So that's another big key factor in this whole scheme of things, in this way of eating. Basically, I do what's called intermittent fasting. They call it IF. So in the morning, I'll wake up, I'll make my coffee, which doesn't count as part of it. And that coffee is made with butter. It's made with coconut oil and heavy whipping cream. Heavy whipping cream has no carbohydrates in it, no sugars. There's two different kinds of carbs. There's like the fiber carbs, which you get from vegetables, and then there's the sugar carbs. And basically on the MAID/ketogenic diet, you're eating between 20 and 40 carbs a day. I started off eating only 20 carbs a day or less, because I really wanted to see how I could do on this way of eating. And it also is supposed to help with inflammation in your joints, regulate your cholesterol, believe it or not, because the more fat you eat, your cholesterol actually decreases. It's very scientific in nature, but it definitely does work. And I have to say, my husband and I started it on April 1st. He started it maybe 3 weeks after me, and all his blood work came back normal as of August 1st. So that was kind of like the proof for us. I have lost 43 pounds since April 1st, continuing. And it's something I guess that Jen's always said, abs are made in the kitchen, not when you're working out. And it's the God honest truth, because I can't believe how much everything has changed for us with this way of eating. So I'm going to just go buy a little thing. Now I still drink my Shakeology because it has more fiber carbs in it than sugar carbs. It's funny because one of the biggest thing is cutting out fruit. Bananas on this way of eating are the absolute worst thing that you could possibly eat. The amount of sugar in bananas is almost like equivalent to eating cake. So it surprised me, even though I was eating, I thought, healthy before, it wasn't what was good for my body and what my body needed. So let me just go, before I go into it, this is what I usually eat in a day. I'll have my bulletproof coffee is what they call it. Coffee with butter, just like 1 tablespoon of butter, like one little cut of it. A teaspoon of coconut oil, and I just put heavy whipping cream into like the color that I like. I whip it on up. I actually have a video on it on my Fit page, doing that as well. And I'll drink that. It completely fills me up. On this way of eating, like sometimes I'll have 1 meal a day. Sometimes I'll do 3 meals a day. It all depends on how I feel. But you're not supposed to eat every 2 hours. That's just the difference in this because of what you're eating. Then after that, I'll make my shake in the morning, and that is made with cream cheese, almond milk, crushed ice, I use chocolate Shaco usually, and then I'll put in cherry extract or raspberry because it just kind of gives you that chocolate covered cherry type thing that I really like. So that I usually make that and I save that for lunch. Depends on how my day's going. And then I'll have 2 to 3 eggs and regular bacon, not turkey bacon. You want the fat. So that's usually what I have. And then a lot of times, like we don't have potatoes, I'll do zucchini. Like I'll saute like zucchini. Meat is really good. All that kind of stuff that normally, but no bread, no pasta. Hi, Blakey. For pasta, I actually make zoodles, which is a zucchini noodle, and it tastes just like pasta. And it's amazing. Like even through parties over the summer, I brought cheesecake, which you can eat, and there's only 4 carbs in a slice of cheesecake. So I really feel, I mean, I love my bread, absolutely love my bread. But, and Heather can attest to this, I actually made 2 different kinds of keto pizza. One was a thin crust, one was a thick crust, and it was all made with cheeses, because cheese is a really important thing on this way of eating. And she couldn't believe it. She absolutely loved the pizza. So it's like you can kind of tweak things to what you want. And it's really important to not have a lot of processed foods, which is actually better for us. The more processed foods, that has a lot of chemicals in it. So it's actually really, it's a good way of eating in that respect, that you're not having any of those chemicals in your body. Even like crackers, I'll make, or taco shells. You take provolone cheese, you bake it in the oven for like 5 minutes, you take it out, and it actually forms a shell that you can then put your taco meat in it, and you're not having any greens. So there's all these little, I brought my book in here with me. This is a book that I use, and it has everything from desserts to appetizers, barbecue sauce. And I have 4 kids. I work full time. I have 2 kids in high school, 2 kids in middle school. I'm busy. Like I'm the cheer coordinator for and I coach a team. So if I can do all this stuff, and I sleep, so, my bulletproof coffee helps me, but it's a very easy way of eating when I was on vacation and at home. So it's just a nice way of doing it. A lot of times, and I'll get more into this at another time, but, there's all these different things about how the government was like, sugar is not bad for you. It's okay. If you kind of go back to way our grandparents ate in the 40s and 50s, even the 60s, they ate fat. They didn't have a lot of sugar. Like you would have cake occasionally. You didn't have bread all the time. Like you did have, a lot of potatoes and stuff like that, but they ate really different from the amount of sugar our kids consume in cereals and everything else. It's hidden. I even saw on this one site that I belong to, there's a restaurant, Bojangles, I think it's down south or out west. They're actually putting sugar in salt packets now. So it's amazing where they're hiding the sugar. And then I'm just going to go in a little bit more. Of course, exercise does play a role. I believe that everyone needs to at least exercise 30 minutes a day. You can't have a healthy lifestyle, or maintain any kind of healthiness unless you exercise every day. So that is important in this way of eating. You definitely have to incorporate that. Now, like I said, the fruits are not like a friend of this way of eating. Raspberries, I guess, are okay. I really don't need them. But what it is like the fruits have the fructose in it, which will spike your insulin. And insulin is formed in your pancreas. It gets a little bit more complicated than that. I can break it down at a later date. I kind of wanted to give more of an overview of what this is. But it's amazing because with this way of eating, when you're sleeping is really when you're burning a lot of your fat. Because of what you're eating, your body isn't able to store the fat because you're not having that sugar in your body to spike your insulin. And then your body's burning off what you ate instead of burning off the fat that's in your body. So that's a big thing to do with this way of eating. Also, let me get to my chart that I have. There's 3 different levels that you can do this on. It's strict, moderate, and liberal is what I've broken them down to. If you have more of a sedentary person, that's just starting off, maybe doing some yoga, walking, not able to exercise a lot, you put them on more of a strict carbs, 20 or less. I started off on that because I wanted to kind of shock my body with it. Moderate would be if you worked out a few times a week, and liberal is that you work out every day, and that you can have like 50 to 100, but I honestly recommend only having 20 to 40 carbs a day. And you have to really watch how much fat you have. You have to make sure you have enough fat in your diet, which is not like any other kind of thing that we've ever done. The one thing that you definitely don't want to have is milk. Milk has tons of sugar in it. That's why I do the heavy whipping cream. It has absolutely none. I make stuff that sugar-free Jell-O, and I'll mix it with heavy whipping cream, and I make it into a dessert. You can freeze it, make it into ice cream. Anything that's usually like your thing that you really like. There's all sorts of different varieties that you can come up with. So, pastries, pancakes, actually, I made a Cinnabon keto pancake. My kids absolutely loved it with cream cheese icing, I guess, if you want to call it. So I've kind of put them on a somewhat of a pseudo-made diet, just trying to take out more of the processed foods that they eat every day and kind of incorporate a healthier way of eating. And we've seen big results with how they feel as well. Because it's not just losing the weight, feeling better that way. My skin's improved. I actually had somebody at my dentist the other day ask me if I got Botox from the last time they saw me, because it improves your skin and improves your hair. It's all together. It's just, really, I can't say enough about the whole way of eating. I just wanted to get to some of my lists that I have in regards to like calories. Okay. I eat generally, and you can kind of tweak it to what you're used to, but usually between 1,800 and 2,200 calories a day. So it's basically what you're supposed to have anyways, in regards to a normal way of eating. What I have to really want to stress is this is something that you can continue to do for a lifetime. It's not like some of those fad diets that are out there or diet pills and all that kind of stuff. We're always really good. Like our 5 days are wonderful because it gets people used to eating in a better way than what they're used to. But this just kind of takes it in a different direction. People aren't used to eating unlimited amounts of cheese, like Gouda, and I eat cheese all the time, pepperoni, and like for a snack, I'll melt like mozzarella cheese, put a little bit of pasta sauce in it, and it's almost like a pizza dipping sauce. So it's just a little bit of a different way. But I do have even like a 7-day sample diet, and a lot of, and it involves like chicken, Brussels sprouts. It can easily be tweaked for anyone. If like somebody says they don't like eggs, well, we can definitely find something for them that would kind of get them on a different direction. But that's basically it in a nutshell in regards to this way of eating. I know it's probably a real shocker to most. I know Heather, when she went on vacation in July, she actually started doing part of this, and she found really good results on how she felt. I see Jen drinking wine, and that was a game changer for me. I would say a year ago, I would drink sweet wine. I like all kinds of wine. I'm not a wine snob. I'll have any kind of white, red, whatever. But like Sir Walter's Red was one of my favorites, nice and sweet, which the sugar content probably went through the roof. Now I'll drink like Cabernet, Pinot Noir. But one thing I do really like is I'll take like an ounce or two of vodka, mix it with water and ice, and use some of that Mio. That those, even like the Walmart brand is fine, but a couple of drops, they have 0 carbs. There's no sugar in Mio at all. So you can add that. You can make it into any flavor you want, and you can sip it, and you're not having any sugar. So it was just the little things that kind of changed it up. Water intake is important, just like anything. When my husband and I started doing this, and I did read about this as well, there's this thing called the keto flu. When you're so used to having sugar and you then take it away from your body, it's almost like a shock to your system. So it didn't even last. Like for me, it lasted maybe 12 hours. I kind of just felt sluggish and tired. And I really wanted some icing, I guess you could say, just to kind of get my body back to its normal sugar levels. But my husband I think had it for more 24 hours. He was able to work out, go to work. It wasn't like it was debilitating, but it really, your body aches. You almost feel like you have the flu in a sense. And they do call it the keto flu. So it's amazing what sugar does do to your body. And it's funny, like I start looking now and like friends will call me and be like, oh, I'm going to go get something, to drink at Starbucks. Like I know Heather the one time called me and said, give me some suggestions on what has a decreased amount of sugar. And thank goodness in the world we live in today, you can easily go on your phone, go on your app, put what you want in it, and it'll come up with it, like with what is in that drink, calories, carbs. And I never really looked at carbs that much before. And our one daughter, she was just getting the drink that she normally gets at Starbucks, and it had 92 carbs in it. That's as many carbs as I would eat in 5 days. And that doesn't count everything else that she was eating throughout the day. Not to say that, kids are supposed to get a treat, but there's a lot of little tweaks you can do to take that sugar out of whatever they're eating. And we really, honestly, we don't need sugar or carbs for our body. A lot of the colleges now, their training tables they have for their athletes the day before a game, you're not allowed to have a lot of carbs. They will not let you have carbs. They want you to have protein. So it's kind of funny, like it's kind of like the old way of thinking to load up carbs. Like I guess even marathon runners will not do that the day before a marathon. They'll do it after to help their body replenish. And that's kind of like what I'll say is like everybody's different. Everybody's goals are different. Everybody's bodies are different. We're not all made the same. Just the same way we like to work out. Everybody does something different. This works for me. This has helped myself, my husband, some friends. So I think it would be nice to kind of be able to offer this to, some of the challengers that are coming out in our groups. And I don't know what else, if you want me to say, touch on anything else, Jen, let me know.
Yeah, I actually have a few questions because as you were saying all about the carbs and then the bananas, for instance, I was seeing everybody kind of do the same look that I gave you when I didn't know about this. So while you guys are listening to this, I'm sure you're all thinking in your head right now, like, are you kidding me? Like whipping cream and cream cheese and like all the stuff that we're told not to have. Like, so that was my thing. When Christine first came in and told me about it, I remember sitting there looking at her and my head just kept going and I'm thinking to myself, wait, these are all the things that they tell you to stay away from. And how does this not have a longing effect? Like, okay, I'm fine now, but how in like a year from now am I not going to have like these awful blood results? And, again, because like if you look at everything that we get even from Beachbody, and I'm sure, Christine, you would even think the same, like you were saying, everybody is different. So there's a reason why you have the Autumn Calabrese where they show you the containers and how to eat. And so that does work for everybody, but certain people hit that plateau where it's nice to know that there's a different way of eating. I mean, if you would, Melissa McAllister, swears on this is what, and she's been doing this for a long time. And so is Christine and Kent. But I know that for me, when she's saying about cutting down the carbs, if you notice, she's not eliminating carbs. So I think that's the biggest thing people think of is when they hear that no bread, which she's not saying like none at all, but I think people immediately think, oh crap, I'm done with the carbs. Because I'll be honest with you, I don't eat tons of carbs, but I've always been in the way where if I'm going to eat carbs, I eat them earlier in the morning. And as the day goes, I back off. Sundays are my family day. We have pasta. I eat my carbs on Sundays. I have my pasta. I have my bread. I enjoy my glass of wine. That's my thing. And it's okay to do all that. But if you hear what she's saying, you are taking in carbs, you are taking in or the proteins, but you're just taking them in a different way. And the fats that you're eating, believe it or not, are the healthier fats, like the avocados and the stuff that she's saying. In fact, I even heard somebody today on, I was listening to something on the Beachbody things, and she was saying, make sure you eat your cheeses because there's nothing wrong with cheeses. Oh, I know who it was. It was Stephanie Ortega Roberts. She did a video tonight on how to make a healthy cheesesteak for watching the football game. And she was talking about the cheeses, and she was like, make sure you eat your cheese. There's nothing wrong with it. Where again, I was under the impression, even through this business, and of course, I think all of us were trained, stay away from the cheese. Because my weakness is cheese and crackers. I was told stay away from the cheese. But if you listen, like, so I know for me, I had a hard time wrapping my head around this. I'm not completely right where you are. I'm still trying to get myself. And like I said, I don't even know if it would be totally for me. I think I have to kind of just train my brain to kind of go different. I guess I'm kind of scared. But I do know that what I have done, because I've been hitting a little bit of a wall, and since the transformation story, since even like our group, and even with us being away at Platinum, like I've dropped like 5 pounds. And I'll tell you, the only thing different that I have been doing, sorry, we have a little kitten and he keeps crawling up on the table and I won't allow it. And like, so if you see me, like, it's because of the cat. What I've been doing is, like, instead of waking up in the morning, like what I was doing before was I'd wake up in the morning and I'd have my breakfast, which is exactly what we're taught in the 5-day lean outs, which do work for people. They do work for people. But I know for me, I was kind of hitting a wall. So I wanted to kind of listen to what she was saying. I now get up and I make my coffee, and I put a little bit of butter, which I was like, ew, butter in my coffee. Are you kidding me? But I put a little bit of butter and I put coconut oil, and I like a little bit of sugar. So I do a squirt of stevia and I blend it real quick. You don't taste the butter. Like, you don't taste it. Like, I thought you'd taste it. You don't at all. So I'm like, okay, so I'm getting a little bit of the fats in there, because I think that was my fault, is I wasn't taking in enough of the fats. And Christine, I'm sure you agree, fat burns fat. So like,
that's what I was going to say, because the one thing I had written down is, like, insulin is our fat storing hormone that we have in our body, and it turns the glucose into energy that could be stored by our bodies. So it's a science in regards to that. But when we eat carbohydrates like corn syrup, or even like corn oil, is like one of the absolute worst things for our body. Now, olive oil isn't. That's a whole different way. People, like, a lay person would not think corn oil, olive oil, what's the difference? But there is an absolute huge difference. And this is what really got me, was that when we eat certain carbohydrates, it will raise our insulin levels, and our body starts using glucose for fuel, while storing any fat in our food. It stores it in our body, like a muffin top. Everybody wants to get rid of that muffin top. Well, this is one way of eating that really helps to eliminate the muffin top, because it basically takes the energy from the glucose, which is fast acting. We get that bigger spike in the energy, but it doesn't last very long. That's why that's the carbohydrates. So that's the difference. And when you were touching on, like, waiting to eat in the morning, like, and I was saying, like, the intermittent fasting, and I eat in an 8-hour window per day. Some people start off with a 10-hour window or a 12-hour window. You kind of have to see what's going to work for them, because you want everyone to be successful. That is what we're here for. We are here to change their lives. And I got to say, like, a big part of this way of eating is it is offered in many different countries, especially in Europe, for people that have cancer, because on, like, a tumor or cancers were actually, they grow on sugar. They feed on sugar. And not to say that, oh, this is going to cure you from cancer. That's not what I'm saying. It has helped people to decrease the tumor or eliminate the cancer cells in their body. Diabetics, of course, I'd probably be the perfect diabetic if I was, because this is what they really should follow for their health. So there's a lot of different, and this is the way of eating they use to help kids with seizures. I have a little guy that has a lot of different medical issues, had a stroke when he was a baby, and has Tourette's syndrome. And this has really helped him in regards to that, because it's eliminating the sugars that affect your nerves. You know, it's crazy. Like you said, Jen, it's not for everybody, but there's a lot of science behind it, which probably attracted me to it to begin with. And you, like Jen, Doreen, and Heather, Deneen, my husband Kent was in our boot camp, and he would have a lot of shoulder issues. Strengthening through Jen in boot camp helped him. And then the achiness kind of went away from when he was eating different. Like, it was amazing how both of those combined had changed the way his joints felt, because the sugars actually can irritate joints, you know, and it causes inflammation. So.
See, that's what that was, and you're right, because my father-in-law had cancer, and to this day, I mean, thank God, knock on wood, he's been in remission, he's fine. But to this day, like even now at this time, he won't allow candy. He said they told him no sugar. You cannot have sugar. It feeds the cancer. You cannot have it. So it's so true. But it was a lot of learning, like, you know, with my coffee, I do that in the morning, and then listening to you, Christine, like, it's hard. Like, I want to eat. That's how I've always been doing, is the every 2 hours thing. So it's hard. So like if I get hungry midday, I'll cut up a couple slices of an avocado. I put a little bit of pepper, just a dash of salt, and then I make my Shakeology. But I've been doing my Shakeology with strawberries, because you were saying that's a better fruit. So I've been doing the strawberries with it. And then I wait, and then at 12 o'clock, then I'll have like so I'll make myself like a salad or something like that. That's where I'm still kind of working it in. Like, I still enjoy my salads, and I haven't gotten to the point where I can do a lot of the cheeses. But I'll tell you what, just a little bit of what you've told me, and a little bit of me starting to like gradually incorporating it, I've seen a difference. And I can't tell you that I feel I still have energy. Like, I'm thinking, okay, if I don't eat all morning, I must be low on steam. I'm not. Like, I'm fine. And so I don't know. My question to you is, being the fact that we are in this Beachbody business, and, you know, Melissa, obviously her being one of the top Beachbody coaches, I'm surprised they haven't made this even bigger, but she's had huge success with it. And you're hearing so much more about this way of eating. But all of the Beachbody programs coming out still have us on the meal plans of the breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, what you should be eating, which is what we even share in the transformation. That's a lot of our 5-day lean out, stuff like that. What audience can we direct this to? Will it work for everybody? Will it not work for everybody? You know, we're going to need somebody like you to answer all of these questions, because this is still a learning process for us. So how can we kind of, you know, are there people that don't do well with this and end up gaining weight? Like, how does this work?
I think it actually would work for everybody. I think if they don't, it's like I will tell my kids, you can't eat the bacon and then expect to eat 4 slices of bread. Like, you have to change your way of thinking. You know, and it's like, it's been shoved down our throats, basically, that, you know, don't eat fat, low fat this, you know, and fat free this. And we've kind of all learned that the fat free is not the best, because that is adding a lot of chemicals into everything. This is more natural. Like, you're bringing it down to the basics again of what people that, I mean, it could work. People that don't like to necessarily cook. I mean, you don't have to be a chef by all means, you know, and like I said, my meals don't take me very long, but the people that like the processed foods, or, you know, the lean cuisines, like, I have to say, like, this has a lot to do with almost kind of how Atkins was in a way, but it is still different. And, you know, Atkins even went to the prepackaged meals and everything. And essentially that's not the way we're not going to go on that forever, and nobody should. But like the pastas and everything, if people are stuck on eating like, we don't need the fruit to try to get people to say, like, your body does not need, and especially with us taking Shakeology, with the amount of vitamins that are in there, you know, like, look at Erin Ferner, who's pregnant, and her doctor even said, you don't need a prenatal. I checked out your Shakeology. This is beautiful for you. She would never do anything to harm her unborn child, you know, and it has everything in it that you need. I take a multivitamin. I have diverticulitis, so I have to say that actually helped me, because if there's one thing, if I could be frank, you don't really toot a whole lot on this kind of way of eating, because you don't have the carbohydrates. So it does help your digestion completely. I sleep better. My husband used to get up all the time at like 2 o'clock in the morning, not being able to go back to sleep. And it's the way your body you're changing your whole metabolism, and the way your body is storing your fats, getting rid of your fats, your insulin spikes. And a lot of times that really when you have a lot of carbohydrates, it really can disrupt your sleeping patterns. So this definitely helps, trying to sleep more. I used to have to take valerian root and melatonin to help myself like sleep and stay asleep. I can't remember the last time I took it. When I was a nurse and I was switching back and, well, I am a nurse, but when I worked in the hospital, switching back and forth from night shift, day shift, I used to have to even take Benadryl sometimes just to get myself asleep. And this has totally helped me to do that. I'm able to do Jen's boot camp, and not have any problems with energy and being able to do that. So
what are your eating hours? What you eat between?
Now it's not the same every day. Like today I slept in a little bit longer. So I had coffee, then I worked out. I did total body cardio, 21-day fix. And then my kids wanted me to carve their pumpkins with them and scoop all that out. So we did that. I had made my shake earlier in the day when I do my coffee in the little magic bullet because it just gets it nice and frothy. So I actually today didn't eat till 12:30, which is, I just didn't, like, you're not supposed to, it's however you feel. And when you're eating more fat, your body, you're not hungry because it's a different way of how you feel. You don't have those empty calories per se. And like a lot of times carbohydrates will fill you up for like a couple hours, but then you're hungry again. So for today I had that. And then I had a 3:30 football game to go to. So I quickly, I had bacon and eggs before I left for that. So I ate, so you don't have to really worry about how many hours are apart from what you eat when you eat. But I knew I wouldn't be getting home. And then I made a pork roast in the crock pot. So I had that ready and I had a couple pumpkin seeds that I roasted from the pumpkins we carved earlier. I am so full right now. I can't even look at food.
When's the last time you ate?
5 o'clock.
Okay. And then you won't eat for the rest of the night. You're done.
Yeah, I'm done. But normally what I do, like tomorrow, I will wake up, I will have my coffee. I'll bring my shake I have a 9 o'clock appointment for work. I'll bring my shake with me. I'll probably eat it in the car. And then I'll probably bring a salad. I'll bring I love spinach with chicken, lots of EVOO on it. And then some cheese, definitely some kind of cheese in there. So I'll have that. The only good thing about this is if I ever am stuck, I can always find a salad somewhere to eat and go to Wegmans and go to their salad bar. You can go to Five Guys and ask for a bunless burger. And I'll have that with mayonnaise because mayonnaise is wonderful. That's like one of the best things to eat because it gives you a lot of fat.
She was like, what?
It's really good. So I'll ask for mayonnaise. And pickles have no carbs. So I go to Five Guys and I'll say to them, I'll take, a burger with cheese and mayo, pickles. And that'll fill me because it's all fat and protein. But I know I already have it planned that I'll have my shake. I'll have with my cream cheese and my almond milk. And then I'll have my salad. And then for dinner, since we don't have boot camp, because usually I have to eat hours before, because I don't want to get sick, I'll have something. I'll whatever, like chicken and a vegetable. Brussels sprouts.
Your dinners are decent dinners. The chicken, what about sweet potatoes? Are they good? No?
I don't really need them though. It's not, it has a lot of sugar. I'd have to look it up.
Okay.
But I kind of try to eliminate any kind of grain and, a root vegetable like that. I wouldn't. Yeah. Okay.
And then audience wise, like you said, anybody. So what happens if somebody does this? And I'm being almost like devil's advocate. I'm just throwing crap out there. Almost like the Atkins, you do this and you see amazing results and then you stop. And you start incorporating carbs. What would happen if you would stop tomorrow and just start going back? Would you, I guess it would be like any diet. You kind of just, once you stop doing things, you kind of just gain. But I don't know how that would work.
I have, in the beginning, like I said, I was more strict with 20 carbs or less a day. And even like Melissa will say for the first 7 days, like try to do 20 or less. Our Shakeology has around 17 carbs. So for the first 7 days, she would recommend you not to use Shakeology and then to incorporate it back in. Because even the carbs that are in it are not the bad kind. They're not the sugar kind. You know, those P90X bars that we all love so much,
Yes.
the sugar content, and that's why they got rid of them, because the sugar content was so high. Christine Dwyer, she does this way of eating. And she was like an Aaron Goodman Ferner, Amber Blanche, like a lot of them, they're like all on this way of eating. And I think if anything, I do it for my health. I'm so glad I lost the weight, let me tell you, but I do it for what my organs need and my skin, you know what I mean? Like I do it for health reasons as well. I kind of changed my whole way of thinking, like I'm consuming food to live, but to also make my body better.
Right.
You know? And I even have I can make a chocolate cake because I have recipes to do so. When you get into it more, we can do what's called fat bombs, because you want to try to incorporate more fat in your diet in a healthy way. So there's different fat bombs you can make to get that into your diet. But somebody that, it could be very difficult with somebody that's not going to be able to stay away from the sugars as much. But I think if they give it a try and see how their body feels, that they'll be surprised.
And yeah, we were talking about too, doing one of our, keep doing the 5-day lean outs. I mean, obviously they're successful and people enjoy them and they're still in the Beachbody programs and they do help, but also being able to put together, like you said, like a 7-day keto and address it in a way where it's out there. My only concern is like just hearing you talk, what happens if people jump on board and they're like, I want to do the 7-day keto. I want to check it out. I want to see if this is for me. And like you said, on the 3rd day, they hit that keto flu. Because I know, like, how do you work with it? Because I can just see people being like, oh my God, I don't feel good. Like, how do you do that?
I think we need to bring it out as, like, this is a completely new way. Did you want to try something different? It's going to be a detox for your body because you're detoxing sugar. It's almost like sometimes on some way of eating, they're like, don't have any caffeine or don't have any alcohol. Well, this is don't have any sugar. So people have to realize this could happen, and that would be something when we as coaches talk to people like, listen, this is a whole different way of how your body's going to react to food. So if you get over that hump of not having the sugar and, you're going to feel a little sluggish and you might feel a little achy on the 3rd or 4th day of doing this, just so you know, but the benefits at the end are so worth it. Some people don't have it at
all. Right. Do you guys have any questions for Christine at all? You can unmute and ask her. Please feel free to ask.
I know Deneen wants some mayo and butter in her coffee.
Oh, I don't like mayo ever.
Oh,
Ever. No.
What about butter?
Butter? Okay, a little bit.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I think this was, like I said, this is still, guys, I mean, I've been wanting Christine to do this call for a while just because, like I said, I have witnessed this huge transformation with her. I witnessed it and we went to Platinum together and I got to be by her side for 3 days and watch how she incorporates this into her diet. I got a chance to see it and we were away. It wasn't the easiest, but she stayed on it and she found what works for her. She did the salads with the cheese. When we had snacks, she would go and get a little plate and she would get rid of the fruit, the grapes and stuff like that. And she would have the cheese and she stayed on board. We had normal dinners, like a normal dinner. She just kind of tweaked it to what would work for her. But I couldn't imagine how this was healthy and how this would work. But then when you look at her, who's 40-some pounds down, then you look at her husband and then you start hearing other stories. And then you're talking about Melissa McAllister and you look at the way she looks. And then you're hearing about this Erin Ferner and then Amber Blanche and you're seeing their stories and you're like, you got to be kidding me. Like, how is this working? And like, I said, with Christine being a nurse, I knew when she started this, she got a book and she was done with that book in like 24 hours. Like she got the book and read it and studied it, didn't jump into this blind, reading all the facts. And, a couple months, I mean, we haven't had our team call in a while, but I said to her, Christine, when we do one, I really need you on board because, I don't want to get away from what we do. I don't want to get away totally from the Beachbody guides. People love the 5-day lean outs. It's easy for them. It's a great way to start. But if this is another Beachbody way, if this is another way that we can reach people, if this is changing lives, it's a new way of eating, it is changing your metabolism, it's incorporating healthy fats and getting rid of the bad carbs, and like she said, getting rid of the sugars that are killing our body. Like you said, they're feeding the cancer, they're feeding all these diseases. If there's a way that we can target and say, listen, we've got something else. So when that person comes to you and says, I've hit that plateau, I'm screwed up, I don't know what to do. And you say, listen, we've got this keto. Have you ever tried it? Why don't you try it? I just want us to remember what we're here for as coaches. And sometimes if we have to veer over here to try to find a new way to reach people and help people, I want us to be educated on it. And I want us to know about it. And like, I can't tell you, I mean, Christine, Todd Lakey, I don't know if you talked to him. Todd came into the boot camp the other day and said to Dean, he's been doing this diet and he's like, feels amazing. And this is somebody who does Ironman marathons. I mean, this is like, he's not just sitting back and whatever. So, I mean, I'm just hearing it more and more and more. And I think it's just us trying to wrap our head around it. If you don't mind, this call was amazing. You've answered our questions. And I'm sure afterwards my head's going to spin and I'm going to have tons more questions. And so is everybody else. I would love for you to just take, like even this week, post things within our page, maybe some facts, things for us to look at, maybe some, success stories, maybe share your meal plan with us. I would love for you this week to really, in our team business builder page, to kind of really share, just keep us going on this for a little bit and just let us kind of follow your journey a little bit so that we kind of can see what it is that you do. And like I said, not just that too, but also the facts of it so that we can kind of study it on our way and learn more. And then, we're going to do the 5-day lean out. We'll do that after the Halloween, the normal one. We'll pick which one we're going to do. But for the next month after that, so for November, I would love to be able, like, even if it's towards the end of November or whatever, I'd love to be able to offer like a 5-day or 7-day lean out, like part 2, but open it to somebody, but really need your guidance through it. Like letting people know, listen, like Christine's the leader. This is what she does. These are the questions that you're going to have. This is what you're going to go through. So almost like preparing like a Google Doc form. And when we advertise it, have them fill it out and let them know, during the 3rd and 4th day, you may feel like this. Are you okay with that? Like have them do a questionnaire and say you cannot participate without the questionnaire, just so that they know what they're in for. You know what I mean? Like kind of, because I don't want to see all these people come in and you've put so much work into it that 2 days into it or 3 days into it, they all fall off. You know what I mean? Because they're like, well, I didn't know I was going to feel like this. And, I didn't know I was going to be eating cheese and cream cheese. And you know what I mean? So like, I feel that maybe what you and I can do is put together a Google form and really maybe run a 7-day as a team and introduce this ketogenic, Melissa made diet out to people and see how they do. Before we go, and I want to kind of close out in like the next 5 minutes, but I also heard too that this is also geared for people who have fatty livers. Is that right?
Yes, if they have fatty livers or high cholesterol, anything in that respect, it's wonderful. And that's, it totally reversed my husband's liver enzyme issues, and nothing has ever done that before. So definitely, it's definitely for that. And I can post, I'll post different things. And I know on my page every day, I post a different recipe that's a keto recipe to help people see. And I know Heather, for instance, you never had the keto flu, did you?
No, I never did.
No.
Because I basically, I was a calorie watcher forever. I mean, all my life, really, well, most of it since college, I always was a calorie watcher. And then through you, I became a carb watcher and sugar watcher. So I didn't eat a ton of carbs, but like Jen, I like my occasional sandwich. I like my pasta. So I didn't feel any effects. Maybe a little headache, but that was about it.
Okay. Yeah. They were so good on what we were Platinum. We had like nachos and like dip, and they're ordering vegetables, and I'm just digging into those nachos. I was like, I'll eat the nachos while you guys eat the vegetables. I was like, I do. I enjoy my carbs. It's not good. But I'm gradually, it makes sense to me. It's really starting to kind of, it didn't. It was really hard for me to wrap my head around. It really was. It still is kind of hard for me to wrap my head around, but I'm seeing so much more and like listening to you more, Christine. And then, like I said, me starting to incorporate a little bit of what I can handle already. I'm seeing differences, and I'm realizing that I'm okay in the morning, and my energy level hasn't dropped. And not only that, but just health reasons, like people with glucose problem, right? Like, can't have breads and stuff like this is like perfect for them. Right.
Right. It's almost like a diabetic's diet in a way, because they have to watch their carbs. I talked to my one friend. I went on a walk on Sunday for one of my son's friends that has diabetes. And she's always like, you'd be the best diabetic because, of watching carbs. And I'm able to switch things around. My husband and I, for Thanksgiving, I'm going to order this bread because I can make, there's like keto bread, and I've made it and it's wonderful. But there's this bread that's like maybe $5 for a loaf, which is crazy. But we're going to make our stuffing for Thanksgiving for the two of us with it, because it's so much low carb. I could still enjoy. I made cloud bread. There is like a tweak for everything that anybody could possibly enjoy, which I think is great. And like cheeseburger casserole is one of my kids' favorites that we make. That's a keto meal. So I'm able to do freezer meals too. When I went away to Dallas down to Platinum, I was able to have everything ready for my family, and I still stuck to what my husband and I eat. And I don't crave, I don't crave the lo mein anymore. Like, it's things that, and I love my baked goods. Oh my Lord. And like popcorn, like that, those were my favorites. And I could drink the butter, but that's about it. But no.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't drink it. But
I love this because like it's so funny because you're talking, like I said, and my head's spinning because you got like Jenna and Joel. Like, look at Joel with his diabetes. Like, he has to watch everything. He loves the 5-day lean outs, but he's got diabetes and she can't have the bread. So everything she has. So I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, like those are the people like I would immediately target. Like, it's almost like we would have to target and say to them, listen, we got something that's going to help you out. Like Cheryl Miller with her diabetes, like this would be perfect. Like, so I think I've been wanting to talk to you about this. And like I said, it's not just me. I feel as a team, we need to understand what's out there, and we need to understand our target audience and how we can help the people. Because I, for one, felt awful when Jenna and Joel did come to me and said, listen, we need help, but I can't have this and I can't have that. And I'm thinking, okay, well, this is what I do for a living. Why can't I figure out a good 5-day lean out for them? That's going to be for them. And like listening to you, I'm like, oh my God, this would be a way to help other people. So Christine, I am so glad that you did this. And like I said, I want to know more, and I would love for you to kind of just blow up our page this week, and give us facts and kind of guide us on what it is that you do, how it's helped people, and let everybody kind of see it, recipe ideas, ways that maybe we can, even us as a team, kind of maybe if we wanted to, if some of us wanted to try to incorporate little things, like maybe if we're saying, listen, you know what, I'm doing good, but I've got too much carbs. So let me take some of these carbs out and incorporate it with this, and really on our own way, try to see what we do, keep tracking our transformation. Cause that's the good part of these groups is it keeps us accountable on being the role model for other people to say we are doing it too. So blow up the page. I'm going to close this down. Does anybody have any other questions for Christine?
I have a comment, if I could.
Okay.
Just so you know, you don't have to run out, just to help Chris out, you don't have to run out and buy any cookbook. If you just search out keto-friendly recipes on like Pinterest, there's a slew of them. There is a ton of keto-friendly recipes that are out there. Even typing in low carb, low sugar, you will find a slew of recipes. I mean, I know, Jen, you love your pasta. There's out there a form of gnocchi made with just eggs and like mozzarella. so there isn't flour in it or anything. So, I mean, I'm going to be dabbling in checking that out, along with Christine's recipes, so
Yeah.
the internet is our friend.
Well, and I think this is great because I even do the weekly recipe ideas for our team, for the cardio and for the boot camp. And it would be great to be able to do one week that's geared towards people who need low carb, low sugar, or whatever.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to incorporate more recipes. So I think that's awesome.
Okay.
Good. Thanks a lot, Heather. Christine, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys.
Well,
I really appreciate you taking the time tonight to fill us in all this, and you've done absolutely amazing. Just watching your transformation is not just, if you guys, like some of the new coaches on here, when I first met Christine years ago, she walked into my boot camp and there was only 2 people in my boot camp, and she stood in the back and modified a jumping jack and had major goals for herself. And, I remember her walking out with mascara like down here and just sweating, and she had such major goals. And not only did she hit so many of them, but then to see her now, a PIO instructor, she's at home, she's running not only her full-time business, but a Beachbody business. She now has her own fitness page. Now she's found this keto diet. She's doing it, and she's leading a team call tonight. Like, Christine, I'm just like glowing. Like, I'm just beyond proud of you, beyond. And I really appreciate you coming on tonight. I know how excited you were today when I saw you. So I was like, yeah, Christine's got this.
thank you, Jen. Oh my goodness, without our fearless leader.
Oh, I love you guys.
Yeah.
Any way we can keep doing this is my way. I want to keep paying it forward any way we can and growing as a team. So, guys, I'm going to let you go. It's 9:40. I'm going to close the call down. I will record this and probably post it tomorrow on our team. So if you feel you want to watch it again, or, you want to, anybody, like, just, I'll make sure it's on there. It'll be for everybody to watch. And reminder, just don't forget to order that book. And make sure you look at that calendar. Remember, our page is to ask any questions. So if you have any questions for Christine, please reach out to her if you have questions in regards to our team. And then the new coaches, I will have our page set up tomorrow, and we'll start our training to kind of get you kind of in the swing of things and just learn terminology and the whole bit and what you're part of. Okay?
Cool.
All right,
Thank
guys.
you.
Have a good night.
Have a great
Bye
night.
all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.